Have you ever wondered if that old coin in your pocket or collection could be worth a fortune? Some rare coins have sold for millions of dollars, making them some of the most valuable collectibles in the world. In this video, we'll explore the most valuable coins and what makes them worth so much. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. First up, we have the Australian 50-cent coin commemorating the discovery of Bass Strait, minted in 1998. This coin, which marks an important milestone in Australia's history, is highly coveted by collectors, especially those who specialize in Australian numismatics. What sets this coin apart is not just its design, but also its rare condition, which can significantly increase its market value. If you own one of these coins in its pristine state, it's possible you could be looking at a collector's item worth a small fortune. The discovery of Bass Strait coin was issued in 1998 to commemorate the bicentenary of the exploration of Bass Strait. Bass Strait, named after the British navigator George Bass, separates Tasmania from the Australian mainland. The coin's design features an image of George Bass aboard his ship, the Norfolk, with the strait depicted in the background. The design is elegant and encapsulates the historical significance of this body of water, making it a favorite among Australian coin collectors. In terms of mintage, the coin was struck in large numbers, but despite this, certain conditions and errors can make the coin much more valuable. When looking at the current market value, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in its appraisal. Coins that are in dirty or worn-out condition often have a reduced value, but even these coins can hold strong historical worth. In the case of the black-colored, dirty condition coins, these can fetch substantial amounts depending on the extent of the tarnishing and wear. Some collectors have been known to pay high amounts for these tarnished coins, as long as they are still legible and maintain most of the design features. One of the main reasons for the high market value of the discovery of Bass Strait coin lies in its association with a major milestone in Australian history. This coin is part of a series of Australian coins commemorating different events in the country's past, making it a valuable addition to any collection. As for market prices, recent auction results have shown that even coins in less than perfect condition can command prices of around $100,000, with mint condition examples being worth even more. In particular, coins with minting errors, such as misalignments or double strikes, have seen some of the highest bids at auction. Coin on the list is the 1997 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II's third portrait. This coin is rare for several reasons, including its unique state of preservation, a large date variety, and its distinct black color, which indicates a level of wear and corrosion that has only added to its mystique in the market. Before we dive into the specifics of this coin's value, let's first take a step back and understand the history surrounding this series of 20-cent coins. The 20-cent coin was introduced in Australia in 1966, alongside the rest of the new decimal coinage, when the country switched from the pound system to decimal currency. Since then, this coin has seen various design changes and updates. The 1997 coin, however, is especially important because it represents the last year in which the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appeared on Australian currency. The design features Queen Elizabeth II in her later years, with a more mature and regal appearance compared to the earlier portraits. The third portrait, created by Raphael Makhlouf in 1985, was the first to show the Queen wearing the royal diadem and facing right, a position she had never been portrayed in on Australian coins before. The change was significant, not only for the symbolism but also for the portrayal of the Queen's aging process over the years. This third portrait, combined with the large date, was only used for a short period, making the 1997 coin an important year for collectors. Now, let's talk about the specifics of this coin. The 1997 Australia 20-cent coin with the large date in black color and dirty condition has a unique story behind it. The coin, despite its worn and dirty condition, is considered to be one of the most valuable coins of the 20-cent series due to a number of factors. The black color seen on this particular coin comes from environmental factors, including corrosion and oxidation, which have altered the coin's appearance dramatically. This blackened look is often associated with coins that have been exposed to harsh elements, and although such a state of preservation would generally decrease the value of most coins, it has the opposite effect here. Collectors value this coin because it is a rare example of how coins can deteriorate in a way that actually enhances their collectability. This particular coin, with its unique black color and dirty condition, is highly sought after by collectors who specialize in coins with unusual attributes. Its value at auctions today can fetch up to $90,000, a staggering amount considering its condition. The high value is primarily driven by its scarcity, as only a handful of these coins have been preserved in this specific state. The large date variety adds another layer of rarity to the coin, further increasing its worth. Additionally, the market for this coin is extremely robust, with many collectors constantly on the lookout for coins in this condition. The historical context of the coin also contributes significantly to its collector interest. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of Australian history, reflecting a time when Australia's coinage was evolving and changing. This coin's rarity, combined with its historical context, makes it an iconic piece in any collection. Mintage numbers for the 1997 Australia 20-cent coin are relatively high, but the vast majority of the coins produced were in much better condition, meaning that only a small fraction of them has survived in such a unique and valuable state. As a result, this coin has become a prized possession for serious collectors, with many willing to pay premium prices to own a specimen like this. The errors on this coin are minimal, but the distinctive blackened and dirty appearance makes it an anomaly in the series, further adding to its appeal. The market for coins in unique conditions like this is always evolving, with new collectors discovering the value of such coins all the time. This coin, while not pristine, is considered a special edition of sorts, and as a result, its value has only increased over time. Now, let's take a closer look at the second coin that's sure to grab the attention of serious collectors. The 1971 Australian 50-cent coin featuring the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin is a milestone in Australian coinage, as it marks the introduction of the dodecagonal 12-sided shape for the 50-cent coin. This coin's design is significant not only for its historical context, but also for the unique shape, which makes it stand out from the usual round coins of the time. The 1971 50-cent coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, which was designed by Arnold Machin, the British sculptor. On the reverse, the coin features an Australian kangaroo and an emu, two animals that have become synonymous with the Australian identity. The design is simple yet effective, capturing the essence of the country and its natural wildlife. This coin was the first in a series of Australian coins that adopted the dodecagonal shape, which was done to differentiate the 50-cent coin from the rest of the country's coinage. In terms of mintage, the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin was produced in large quantities, making it relatively common in circulation. However, the condition in which it survives plays a major role in its current market value. Coins that have been well preserved and retain their original shine and detail are highly valued. Those in circulated condition are worth a decent amount, but not nearly as much as the pristine versions. A coin in circulated condition, even with visible wear and tear, can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars in auction, depending on demand and the collector's interest in this particular issue. While the 1971 50-cent coin is generally not as rare as some other Australian coins, it does carry a certain level of prestige due to its unique design and the fact that it was part of the first group of coins to feature a dodecagonal shape. The historical value of this coin, coupled with the continued interest in Australian numismatics, means that collectors are often willing to pay top dollar for coins in excellent condition. In fact, the value of a coin in circulated condition can reach upwards of $10,000 to $30,000 in some auction markets, especially when the coin is graded highly by professionals. Collectors are particularly interested in this coin because of its limited production run. Though large numbers were initially minted, the 1971 dodecagonal 50-cent coin is considered a transitional piece in Australian coinage, bridging the gap between the older round 50-cent coins and the new, distinctive 12-sided design. Coins that have survived in better condition, particularly those with minimal wear, are especially sought after. As with many other valuable coins, the presence of errors can drive up the value even further. In the case of the 1971 50-cent coin, A few minting errors have been reported over the years, including coins that were struck off-center or had double strikes. These errors are extremely rare, and when they do appear, they can significantly increase the market value of the coin. If you happen to come across a 1971 50-cent coin with any of these errors, you might find yourself in possession of a truly valuable piece that could fetch upwards of $100,000 or more in auction. In terms of collector interest, the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin is often considered a must-have for serious numismatists, especially those who focus on Australian coinage. Its iconic design, historical significance, and unique shape make it a valuable addition to any collection. Collectors appreciate the coin not only for its aesthetic appeal, but also for the story it tells about Australia's evolving coinage and its cultural identity. The second coin we're discussing today is the 1976 Australia 20-cent coin, which features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin is an essential piece in the Australian coinage series, and its value has been steadily increasing over the years. Like the 1997 coin, this one also has a large date variety, but what sets it apart is its condition, rusty and dirty. But don't be fooled by its appearance. This coin is extremely valuable, and collectors are willing to pay a substantial amount to own a piece of Australian history in such a unique state. The second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine, was used from 1966 to 1984 on all Australian coins. The portrait shows the Queen wearing a crown and facing the right. It was a more youthful portrayal of Her Majesty compared to the later portraits, and it became one of the most widely recognized images on Australian currency. The second portrait was a defining image of Australian coinage for nearly 2 decades, making coins from this period highly collectible. In 1976, the 20-cent coin was produced in large numbers, but only a small number of them have survived in this rusty, dirty condition. Like the 1997 coin, the corrosion on the 1976 coin has contributed to its uniqueness and rarity. The rusty look is a result of the coin being exposed to environmental elements over an extended period. Although rust and corrosion typically diminish a coin's market value, it is precisely these elements that make this particular coin so special and valuable. The 1976 20-cent coin with the large date and rusty, dirty appearance has been known to fetch upwards of $150,000 at auction, a reflection of its rarity, condition, and the demand from collectors who specialize in coins with unique qualities. Collectors are drawn to these coins because of their distinct look and the fact that they represent a time in history when Australia's coinage was transitioning and evolving. The 1976 coin also represents an era when Australian coins were still being minted in relatively high volumes, making coins from this period harder to come by in unusual conditions. The mintage for the 1976 20-cent coin is significant, with millions of coins produced that year. However, the vast majority of these coins have been lost, damaged, or preserved in much better condition. The few that remain in a rusty and dirty state are considered rare gems in the eyes of collectors. The value of these coins is driven by the fact that they are part of a much-loved and highly collectible series, and their rarity in this specific condition makes them stand out in the marketplace. This coin, like the 1997, has an error in its preservation, which only adds to its value. The error, in this case, is not a minting flaw, but rather a natural occurrence of rust and corrosion that makes the coin appear aged beyond its years. The combination of the second portrait, the large date, and the unique condition of the coin makes it a must-have for any serious Australian coin collector. Next up, we talk about iconic Australian coins. One coin that immediately comes to mind is the 1973 Australia 50 cents coin, featuring the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. It's a coin that's not only valuable but steeped in historical significance, making it a must-have for collectors. The design of this coin, coupled with its rarity, makes it a standout piece in any collection. The year 1973 marked a significant change for Australian coinage. Prior to this year, the Australian 50-cent coin was round. However, in 1966, the Royal Australian Mint introduced a new dodecagonal 12-sided shape for this coin, making it an immediate symbol of modern Australian currency. The introduction of the 12-sided 50-cent coin also coincided with the country's transition to decimal currency. By the time 1973 rolled around, the coin had been in circulation for 7 years, but it was in 1973 that the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II was officially featured on the coin. This portrait, created by the artist Arnold Machan, was an update to the first image that had appeared on Australian coins for years. The design of the 1973 50-cent coin is quite stunning. The reverse features a stylized Australian coat of arms, which includes a kangaroo and an emu, with the Southern Cross constellation displayed above. This coat of arms has deep symbolic meaning for Australians, representing the nation's wildlife, history, and its place within the Southern Hemisphere. Meanwhile, the obverse of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, who was still very much the reigning monarch at the time and continues to hold this position today. As far as the mintage of this particular coin goes, it's a relatively rare piece, especially in higher grades of circulation. The total mintage for the 1973 dodecagonal 50-cent coin was over 28 million, but what makes the coin truly valuable is its condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can fetch high prices at auction, and it's not unusual to see this particular coin fetching prices in the 100,000 plus range, depending on the grade. Coins with mint errors or unique features can also increase in value. These errors might include double strikes, die cracks, or other unusual imperfections that make the coin even rarer and more desirable. Collectors often seek out these rarities, which is why the demand for the 1973 Elizabeth II second portrait coin remains high. Many collectors are also particularly interested in owning a piece that represents a significant year in Australia's numismatic history, making the 1973 coin even more valuable. While most examples of the 1973 coin circulate in lower grades, higher grade examples can achieve premium prices at auction. Coins in exceptional condition can command upwards of $100,000, depending on rarity, condition, and market demand at the time of sale. In fact, at recent auctions, examples in near-perfect condition have been seen fetching upwards of $150,000, depending on the specific coin's uniqueness. Beyond the tangible value, the 1973 Australian 50-cent coin is also of immense historical importance. The year 1973 marked the transition from the previous portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which had appeared on Australian currency since 1953, to the second portrait, which would appear for the next 40 years. The change symbolized a new era in Australian numismatics, making the 1973 coin particularly sought after by numismatic historians and collectors. Now, let's move on to the second coin on our list, the Australia 20 cents. Elizabeth II second portrait 1980 large, date coin with damage dots. This coin, despite its imperfections, has managed to gain considerable collector interest and hold a high market value. Let's explore why. The 1980 Australian 20-cent coin, featuring the same portrait of Queen Elizabeth II as the 1967 coin, is another pivotal piece in the history of Australian numismatics. The design of the Queen's second portrait, while used across many coins throughout the Commonwealth, holds particular significance for Australian collectors. The 1980 issue of the 20-cent coin, specifically the large date version, is especially important due to its rarity and the unique characteristics that set it apart from other coins of the same era. The 1980 coin was part of a broader set of currency minted during a period of inflationary pressures in Australia. The 1970s and 1980s were marked by rising costs and economic challenges, which led the Australian government to release coins in various denominations to meet the growing demand for currency. The 20-cent coin itself, along with other denominations, became crucial in everyday transactions, helping Australians cope with the rising cost of living during this period. The large date feature of the 1980 coin is what makes it particularly interesting to collectors. During the minting process, there was a notable variety in the size of the digits used to represent the year on coins, with some coins being struck with a larger date than others. The larger date was typically used for coins intended for circulation, and they have since become a sought-after variation due to their distinctiveness. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin, specifically the damage dots present on the coin's surface. These imperfections, often caused by mishandling or environmental factors, might initially seem like a flaw, but they have become part of the coin's character. In fact, certain types of damage, including these dot-like markings, can sometimes increase the coin's value because they make the coin more unique. As a result, collectors often find themselves drawn to coins with this kind of damage, as they stand out from other coins in pristine condition. The mintage for the 1980 20-cent coin was substantial, with over 55 million coins struck, but the large date variety is far less common than its smaller date counterpart. This rarity has led to an increase in demand for the large date coin, especially when it features unique characteristics, such as the damage dots. In the current auction market, this coin and damage dots condition can easily fetch anywhere from $50,000 to over $120,000, depending on the severity and distinctiveness of the damage. The presence of the dots gives the coin a sense of history, and the rarity of the large date variation further fuels its desirability among collectors. The value of this coin in the auction market is also influenced by the growing interest in Australian coins from the 1980s. As collectors begin to focus more on coins from this era, especially those with unique attributes, the prices for coins like the 1980 large-date 20-cent coin with damage dots are likely to continue climbing. The appeal of this coin lies not just in its rarity and imperfections, but also in the way it connects collectors to a specific period in Australian history. The economic circumstances of the 1980s, coupled with the design elements of the coin, make it an essential piece in the story of Australia's numismatic journey. As with any rare coin, the provenance plays a key role in determining the final auction price. Coins with a documented history of being part of important collections, or those that come with certificates of authenticity, will often command higher prices. So, if you happen to own a 1980 large-date 20-cent coin with damage dots, it's worth considering its origin and any relevant historical context that could add to its appeal. Moving on to another significant coin in the history of Australian numismatics, let's take a closer look at the 1995 Australia 50 cents coin, honoring Sir Edward Weary Dunlop. Sir Edward Dunlop is a national hero in Australia, renowned for his heroic actions during World War II, where he served as a surgeon in the infamous Japanese POW camps. The 1995 50-cent coin, which honors this extraordinary man, is one of the most valuable coins in Australian numismatics, largely due to the historical context behind it. The coin was released as part of the Australian Mint's series of commemorative coins, aimed at honoring the legacy of Australians who made significant contributions to the nation's history. Sir Edward Dunlop is celebrated not just for his role as a doctor, but for his unflinching courage in the face of unimaginable adversity. The obverse of the coin features a beautifully rendered portrait of Dunlop, while the reverse showcases his signature and a symbolic representation of the hardships he endured during the war. This coin was minted in limited numbers, making it rare and highly sought after in the collector's market. Only 8.7 million coins were minted, but it is the condition of the coin that primarily dictates its value. While many coins from the series have been released into circulation, only those in mint or proof condition hold the most value. The 1995 Sir Edward Dunlop 50-cent coin, especially in uncirculated condition, can fetch up to $100,000 at auction. This makes it one of the most valuable Australian commemorative coins in existence. The design of the 1995 coin is especially poignant. Sir Edward Dunlop's portrait is accompanied by a famous image of him, drawn from a photograph taken in 1943. His facial features are soft yet strong, reflecting the strength and resilience that he exhibited during his time as a prisoner of war. This coin is more than just a piece of currency. It's a tribute to an Australian hero, and it stands as a testament to the sacrifices made by Dunlop and many others during the war. Error coins from this issue are also highly valued by collectors. While errors are rare, they can significantly increase the coin's worth, sometimes multiplying the value by several times over. Common errors include double strikes, misalignments, or even the omission of key details. Coins that feature these rare mistakes, especially in high-grade condition, are often considered the holy grail for collectors. The market for the 1995 Sir Edward Weary Dunlop coin remains robust, with coin dealers and private collectors alike seeking out examples in pristine condition. In recent years, the prices for well-preserved coins have soared, reflecting both the public's growing interest in numismatic investing and the ongoing appreciation for Australian war heroes. Auction houses have seen records broken, with some selling for over $120,000. The coin's inherent historical significance only adds to its value, ensuring that it remains a highly sought-after piece in the auction market. Next up, the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin, featuring the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, is not just an ordinary piece of currency. This coin stands as a symbol of Australian heritage and an essential piece of numismatic history. The second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, was a significant departure from the earlier designs that showcased her youthful face. This 1967 coin holds historical value because it marks a transitional period in both Australian coinage and the country's identity within the Commonwealth. The 1967 issue of the 20-cent coin was minted at a time when Australia was undergoing economic and political changes. In the 1960s, Australia was part of the British Commonwealth, and Queen Elizabeth II was, of course, the monarch. The new portrait depicted a more mature version of the Queen, giving the design a sense of continuity while also showing the passage of time. This design was used on coins across the Commonwealth, and it's important to note that this coin marked the start of a modernized series for Australia, which eventually saw new designs in the 1980s. In terms of mintage, the 1967 Australian 20-cent coin had a relatively high mintage, with over 68 million coins being produced. However, despite its relatively common mintage, it is important to note that the market for these coins fluctuates based on condition, demand, and rarity. This particular coin, with its dirty condition status, still carries a surprisingly high value in the collector market due to several factors. First, the term dirty condition can be somewhat misleading in the numismatic world. While the coin may appear to be in a rough state, collectors often see coins in this state as having a unique character. The wear and tear can tell a story of its journey through the years, making it desirable to collectors who appreciate the coin's history. In this specific case, the coin's damage is not significant enough to detract from its value entirely, and its rarity in any condition means it still holds appeal. In today's auction market, the value of a 1967 Australian 20-cent coin in a dirty condition can fetch anywhere between $20,000 and $100,000, depending on specific auction trends and the current market conditions. The demand for coins with historical significance, combined with the unique aspect of the Queen's second portrait and its dirty condition, creates a high collector interest. Despite the relatively high mintage, this coin's desirability lies in its connection to Australia's numismatic history. Over the years, collectors have come to realize that coins from the 1960s featuring the Queen's second portrait are highly sought after, especially those in less than perfect conditions that provide a tangible link to the coin's history. If you happen to come across one of these coins in your collection, it's important to consider its provenance and the context in which it was circulated, as this can add to its overall appeal and market value. The market for dirty coins is driven by collectors who want to own pieces with historical stories, even if they are not in pristine condition. Over time, this particular coin has become a prime example of how even less than ideal coins can experience significant increases in value, as demand for pieces with notable design features and historical significance continues to grow. Next up, the Australia 50 cents. Elizabeth II. Second portrait. Dodecagonal. 1981 coin is another standout in the world of numismatics, known for its unique shape, historical significance, and the sheer value it has garnered over the years. Unlike most coins which are circular, this coin has a 12-sided or dodecagonal shape, which immediately sets it apart from others in circulation. The coin was designed as part of a new series that was introduced to celebrate the 1981 release of the new portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The 1981 series was special for a number of reasons. It marked a change in the design of Australia's 50-cent coin, with a new, more modern depiction of the reigning monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, replacing the older designs. The reverse side of the coin features an effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, created by renowned Australian artist Raphael Makhlouf. The portrait captures the Queen in a more youthful light, with a distinct contemporary look that differs from previous designs. The coin's most distinctive feature, however, is its shape. The dodecagonal form was selected to differentiate the 50-cent coin from other coins in circulation and make it more recognizable. At the time, it was an innovative step for the Royal Australian Mint, as they had never before struck coins in a 12-sided design. The dodecagonal shape became iconic, and even today it is one of the most recognizable features of Australian currency. In terms of mintage, the 1981 50-cent coin was issued in relatively large quantities. However, it was still considered a collectible coin due to its unique design and its association with the new portrait of the Queen. It is believed that around 25 million coins were minted in total, but due to the coin's distinctive and eye-catching design, many of these coins were set aside by collectors. As a result, a large number of these coins are now considered to be in fine or extra fine condition. The value of the 1981 Elizabeth II dodecagonal 50-cent coin has steadily increased over the years. In fine condition, this coin can fetch anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000 at auction, but in higher grades, particularly those with higher levels of mint luster or errors, the value can reach upwards of $100,000. Certain specimens, such as those with particularly sharp detail or an unusual strike error, are prized by collectors and command higher prices in the auction market. For instance, some coins with slight design defects, such as misstrikes or off-center errors, are known to fetch premium prices due to their scarcity and unique features. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1981 dodecagonal coin due to its combination of rarity, design innovation, and historical significance. The coin stands as a tribute to both Queen Elizabeth II's reign and the Royal Australian Mint's ingenuity in pushing the boundaries of coin design. In recent years, auction houses have seen a surge in interest in these coins, with major bidding wars over particularly well-preserved or rare examples. The collector interest in the 1981 Elizabeth II 50-cent coin is not just about its design or rarity, but also its role in Australian history. This coin represents a pivotal moment in the evolution of Australian currency and is regarded by many as a symbol of the country's growing independence and its unique national identity. The coin's value is a direct reflection of its place in history. Next up, the New Zealand 50 cents Endeavour. 1988 coin stands as one of the most iconic and valuable coins in the history of New Zealand's coinage. This coin, which was released to commemorate the bicentennial anniversary of Captain James Cook's arrival in New Zealand, holds not only historic significance but also substantial value in today's market. The coin features an intricate design that highlights New Zealand's history, its connection to the sea, and the country's relationship with exploration. Captain James Cook's arrival in New Zealand aboard the HMS Endeavour in 1769 marked a pivotal moment in the history of the South Pacific, and this coin seeks to immortalize that event. The design of the coin portrays the HM Endeavour itself, with the image of the ship at sea, surrounded by waves that emphasize the exploration theme. The reverse side also features an inscription that marks the year of Cook's arrival, a further tribute to his voyage. When it comes to the mintage, the Endeavour coin was not mass-produced in the usual sense. Only a limited number were struck for collectors, and that rarity combined with the commemorative nature of the coin has greatly contributed to its skyrocketing value. The exact number of coins minted is often debated, but it is believed that fewer than 200,000 of these coins were originally produced for circulation, with many of those finding their way into private collections over the years. In terms of design, the coin is instantly recognizable for its beautiful portrayal of the Endeavour and the ship's historical importance. The artist's attention to detail makes the ship look alive, cutting through the waves of the Pacific. The coin also includes the official New Zealand emblem, featuring a stylized silver fern, further linking it to the country's natural heritage. One of the most exciting aspects of this coin is its error variety. Some of the coins from the initial run were struck with a slight misalignment, causing the design to appear slightly off-center. These coins, particularly in extra fine or higher condition, are immensely valuable as the error adds to the coin's uniqueness and rarity. In recent auction markets, the Endeavour 1988 coin has commanded eye-popping prices, with some specimens fetching as much as $120,000, depending on the coin's condition and provenance. The fact that only a select number of these coins exist in mint condition, coupled with the historical and cultural significance of the coin, has made it a top target for collectors. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, this coin represents one of the rarest and most valuable pieces of New Zealand's coinage. The historical connection to Captain Cook's voyage and the rarity of the coin itself, particularly in extra-fine condition, contribute to its impressive value. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin, specifically the 2004 version bearing the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, holds a special place in the numismatic world. This coin is a masterpiece of Australian coinage and boasts a fascinating history and a remarkable design that draws the attention of both casual collectors and seasoned numismatists. The 20-cent coin has been in circulation in Australia since 1966, but the 2004 issue represents a significant milestone in its evolution. The 2004 Elizabeth II fourth portrait design was created by renowned artist Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait of the Queen was introduced as part of a broader redesign initiative to refresh the national symbols and imagery found on Australian currency. Rank Broadley's portrait, which first appeared on Australian coins in 1998, marked a shift towards a more modern and lifelike depiction of the Queen, moving away from the more traditional and stylized portrayals that had been featured on earlier coins. What makes the 2004 20-cent coin stand out in particular is the large date variation. The large date version is relatively rare compared to its smaller counterparts, and this feature has made it an object of desire among collectors. The obverse of the 2004 coin features the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a more contemporary and realistic rendering of Her Majesty. This portrait is a close-up image of the Queen, with her hair elegantly styled and a crown resting atop her head. The Elizabeth II fourth portrait is distinguished by its finer details, including the Queen's facial features, which are much more defined and lifelike than previous portraits. The reverse side of the coin showcases a traditional design featuring a stylized depiction of a lyrebird, one of Australia's most iconic native species. The lyrebird is shown in a dynamic pose, with its long tail feathers spread out behind it. The bird's graceful posture and natural beauty represent the vibrancy of Australian wildlife. Around the perimeter of the coin, the inscriptions read Australia and 20 cents, which clearly identify the coin's origin and denomination. The 2004 20-cent coin with the large date is one of the rarer versions of the series, with only a limited number produced. While the total mintage figure for this coin is not exceptionally low compared to some other rare Australian coins, the specific combination of features, including the large date and the fact that it is part of a limited series, has driven its market value to significant heights. In fine condition, this coin can be worth anywhere from $50 to $150, depending on the quality of the individual specimen. However, when found in higher grades, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, the value can skyrocket. Coins in these pristine conditions have been known to fetch prices well above $1,000 at auction. The true value of the 2004 20-cent coin in fine condition, however, comes into play when it is sold at specialized numismatic auctions. Some specimens have been known to sell for as much as $15,000 or more, particularly if they exhibit minimal wear and have been certified by professional grading organizations such as the Australian Coin Grading Service or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. The appeal of this coin lies not only in its rarity, but also in the global fascination with Queen Elizabeth II's portraits. As the longest reigning monarch in British history, coins featuring her image have become highly sought after by collectors worldwide. Furthermore, the Australian 20-cent coin is a national treasure, and any coin that carries the mark of the country's beloved wildlife is sure to attract premium prices. Errors and collector interest. Errors play a huge role in driving up the value of coins in the marketplace, and the 2004 20-cent coin is no exception. Some errors that have been spotted on these coins include misprints of the date, slight die cracks, and the occasional off-center strike. These errors are extremely rare, and when such specimens are found, they can fetch astronomical prices at auction, sometimes exceeding $100,000 or more. Collectors are drawn to coins like the 2004 cents because they represent the intersection of historical significance, artistic merit, and rarity. The limited production numbers combined with the iconic design featuring the lyrebird and the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II make this coin a centerpiece of any Australian coin collection. The continued interest in both the Queen's portraits and Australian wildlife ensures that the 2004 20 cents coin remains in high. The 2004 20 cents, Elizabeth II fourth portrait large date, is a coin that beautifully captures the essence of Australia's rich history, its royal connections, and its natural beauty. As more collectors turn their attention to rare Australian coins, this coin is poised to continue gaining value over time, especially as more collectors seek to own a piece of history. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!